In this tutorial, we are going to go and draw a Tim Burton styled character. Here's the one that I came up with, but you can always make one that's a little bit different. So let's get started. Now, the Tim Burton style typically starts off with a pretty circular top portion of the head, and then comes down to a pointed area for the chin. So we're going to start off with a circle at the top head part, and it's going to come down to a triangle point, but we're also going to go and just slightly round things out a little bit. For the center, we're going to go and put some lines down the middle, all the way from the top of the head to the chin. Put this down a slight amount for where the eyes are going to go, a line for where the nose is going to be, and then a line for where the mouth is going to be. These are all approximate lines, and these are going to be the general of where these different facial features should line up. Now we're just going to go and make the neck. The neck is going to be this skinny, little narrow, two-lined area, and then the shoulders are going to go and come to points on both sides. Now the eyes are pretty big. Go and put those on the center of the first line that you drew that was across on this page. Then we're just going to generally draw just a little tiny nose and then sketch out maybe an area where the mouth is going to go. Let's extend the neck up just a slight amount, bring the chin up just a small bit as well, and then let's just go and erase some of those lines to go and clean up the paper a bit. Now we're going to go and just draw two little lines at the sides. These are going to be for where the cheekbones are. Then we're going to go and bring the sides in a small amount because the cheeks shouldn't really be too rounded. A lot of Tim Burton-esque characters have some pretty pronounced cheekbones that are pulled in. For the nose, we're going to go back now. I'm just going to draw a small line along with also a half semicircle at the bottom. And then the ears should be right around where the eyes are, but they should be just slightly smaller than what the eyes are. The pupils are just two little tiny ovals. I'm going to have them looking off to the side, and under the eyes you want to give these some circular or rounded lines just to make it look like your character is tired or a little bit disheveled. The eyebrows are pretty thin, and they're a line that starts downwards and slowly goes up and swoops a little bit. Now add some eyelids if you want your character to look a little bit more tired or just a little bit more serious. After you have those drawn on, then we're going to go back and just erase where the mouth is, and I feel like I want this character to maybe have a pointed smile, just because I feel like he might be a little bit more sinister maybe. Though granted, with a lot of the Tim Burton-esque type characters, their smiles are very pointed, and maybe it doesn't make them a bad character or a mean character or anything like that, it's just the type of style. So for the mouth, I made it pointed with little triangles that are there. It looks very triangular, but it comes to two lines at the edges. And then you have all of these square or rectangle teeth. It just depends on which layer of teeth you're doing, either the top or the bottom. For the hair, I'm making these little pointed kind of wisps that go down to where the eye is. And at the end, I want to go and make it so there's a little tiny circle that's there. I'm doing this for both sides, making a very small widow's peak because that's another thing that a lot of Tim Burton-esque characters have. They have that little widow's peak there, and they have very dramatic pointed styles of hair, or their hair also looks very disheveled as well too, and it's just all over the place, but we love it. At the ends, some little wisps too, and also too for the clothing, might as well go and make these little tiny wisps and also points as well too. Now we're just going to go and clean things up a little bit and make some of the lines a little bit more intense. Now what I'm using is I'm using some acrylic paint markers, and I'm going over everything and just coloring it in slowly. I'm starting off with a lighter brown. That's going to be for the hair, though it is still a pretty dark brown because a lot of the colors minus on where the face is are going to be pretty dark. So I'm just putting down this layer. This is the first layer. Then I'm going to be mixing some of the almost like peach color that I have with some of the white to go and just subdue the color a bit, because a lot of the characters that you do see that are Tim Burton-esque have a very grayed skin tone to them, or they have some very darkened areas of their flesh, and that's just because of the style again. Going and outlining the eyebrows, going and outlining everything else, and I don't want these lines to be very solid, very clean. They should be pretty wispy and they should be pretty messy, but they should follow along the lines of where everything is. For where the eyelid area is, the upper portion between where the eyelid and the eyebrow is, I'm taking a small amount of the black paint, going and mixing it with white, and then any of that little bit of gray that's left on the tip of the white brush, I'm going and blending in. Under the eyes, I put a bit more black, along with also mixed it with some white, and I wanted it to be nice and dark underneath there. I'm going to wait for that to dry. While it's drying, adding a small amount of red to where the nose area is, blending it out with that pen, and then I'm going back to where the hair is, waiting for everything to go and dry on the center portion of the face. I'm just filling in a lot of the areas that I didn't fill in before, where the brown is. Then after everything is dried on the face, I'm going back over and I'm going and starting to outline more. Where the eyes are, I'm creating these little tiny circular lines that go and branch off, then just going and outlining all of the clothing. For the actual shirt area, I decided to go with purple, put a little bit of shadow underneath that collar of his shirt, blend it, and then wait for everything to go and dry. And here is the final drawing. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can find my tutorials and also more art over on my profile.